Welcome back to the Football Terrace. Thank you very much for tuning in. As always, do us a big favor, hit the like button, share button, retweet button, subscribe to the Football Terrace right now. Hitting the like button is the most important bit. A bit of a competition for you all as well. We'll delve into that a little bit later on. But big reports emerging over the past 12 hours or so that reportedly Manchester United have agreed terms with Jack Grealish. The deal to bring him to Manchester United from a player-to-club perspective is done. Of course, United are going to wait until the end of the season. Villa staying in or being relegated from the Premier League will have a big say on the price that Man United have to pay Aston Villa. But the reports are numerous outlets running with it. Aston Villa manager himself, Tim Sherwood, feels exactly the same. They believe the deal is already done. This is one that will happen fairly quickly. It's fairly soon after the season ends. But I do want your views. I want your opinions as ever, because that's the most important to us here at the Football Terrace. It always is. That's what we're here for. It's your community. It's about what you think, what you feel, etc. Now, everyone knows my opinions on Jack Grealish. Like, everybody knows my views. Everyone knows my opinions. I think he's a highly talented lad. I think he's a highly talented boy, and one that, you know, a player that I would like to see Manchester United go out there and sign. A player that I'd like Man United to go and bring into the football club, because he is. How I want to say this. I want to say this in the right way. He's highly, highly talented. When barring Bruno and Pogba, when you compare him to the rest of our midfielders on a creative level and from a versatility point of view, no one else in the Man United squad gets anywhere near Jack Grealish. Not from outputs and not when it comes to technique. He is twice the player Lingard is, 3 times the player that Pereira is. Juan Mata in his pomp was certainly better, in my opinion. Juan Mata's not in his pomp anymore, so it becomes almost irrelevant. I am so hopeful that this deal is real, that this deal gets done, because the strength in depth this would give to Manchester United would be massive. The quoted price for him ranges from 35 million to 80 million pounds. And what Villa get for him will be dictated by them staying and remaining in the Premier League. So if you're a Man United fan and you want to pick up Jackie Grealish cheap, you've got to hope for a relegation. You've got to hope for relegation for Aston Villa. You really, really do. Phone lines are open. You can call in right now to come and have your say about this news, about this information. We'd love to hear from you. Before that, though, refresh the stream right now. If you're already tuning in, please refresh right this second. We have a competition for you. We are going to give away 2 prizes. One, we're going to give away a day pass for Sky Sports, meaning you can pick a day. We will buy you a day pass so you can watch all Sky Sports football, whether that be here in the UK or whatever country you're based in, whatever your equivalent is. We'll buy you a day pass so you can watch all the Premier League football on that day. And what we're going to do is give away 1 monthly pass. So one of you lucky people is going to win a monthly pass to watch all of Sky Sports Premier League games. Now, to do that, what you need to do is go into the description below, download the app HotMic. Use our promo code TFD. The information, you can see it down there in the bottom corner of the screen right there. Use that. Get signed up. We need to gain 100 new followers today. To get your friends, get your family to do it. And the person who recommends the most amount of people wins. All you've got to do is show us how many people have signed up. We'll know if you're telling us the truth because we'll see the numbers go up. But get yourselves over there. Get that done. To give you an idea, the number we're on right now, if you haven't signed up yourself, sign up. But the number we're on right now is 2,223 followers. So get yourselves it downloaded now. If we hit the 100 new followers, one of you is going to win a month free Sky Sports, and another person is going to win a day. The person who gives us the most is going to win the month. The person that comes second is going to get a day pass. Get it downloaded now. Get your friends, get your family. Send out the link. All the information is in my description below. Send it to all your friends. Just tell them to sign up. Use that promo code. It's free of charge. I never get any fees. The more we sign up, the better. We hit the 100 mark, free Sky Pass there. We're going to delve into some of these calls in just a few moments. As I always say, hit the like button, hit the share button, and all that jazz. Really, really important to us that you do that and get that done. Nearly 600 of you tuning in, which is amazing. First caller of the day. We're going to jump in and speak to CJ first of all. Hi, CJ. Welcome to the channel. news is out. Jack Grealish potentially has agreed a deal already to join Man United. What's your thoughts on the rumor? And secondly, would you like that deal to happen?
Well, to be honest, I do see it as a good point of progression for Manchester United because, as you said, well, the season has not been great from a midfield point of view in terms of Pereira's been underperforming, Lingard's not been himself, and Mata has pretty much dropped off. So without Paul Pogba as well, the progression from midfield to attack has not been that great. So with Fernandes being in and Pogba, it's been sensational. But again, the bench is where we need to look at and strengthen because those three players possibly going out because you've got Mata and Lingard with a year left on their contracts. Pereira might even get loaned out to Spain. Getting Grealish to come in and sit on the Man United bench, I think, would be sensational because you need talent not just on the field, but on the bench as well, ready to impact games.
I couldn't agree with you more. I think if I've got a fear at the moment with Man United, it's that we pick up an injury to Pogba and Bruno because it will be back to square one. So what we need is that quality now, that strength in depth. And is Grealish good enough to carve out a place in the first team? Yes. Would he be happy to sit on the bench for a period of time doing that? I also think the answer to that is yes. It almost feels the perfect fit. What will slow this deal down, though, and I think Man United fans have to be very, very aware of this, is the fact that there'll be no negotiation with Villa until the season's concluded, because from their point of view, if they stay in the Premier League, they're going to want big bucks for him, and they'll demand big bucks because of the deliverance that he is given. However, they've got a bit of a sticky financial situation at the moment, which is resolved if they stay in the Premier League. So you're not going to be able to barter them down. So I think United fans have got to buckle themselves in for another 4 weeks, 5 weeks until we know exactly what's happening with Villa, and then move forward from there. But listen, CJ, I appreciate you coming on, mate. And having your say. We'll chat to you again soon, bro. Thank you. Now, Simon, what's going on, bro? I'm good. Your line's really poor, though. Let's try it. What we'll do while we're waiting for Simon is we'll throw a few other people onto Jay, what Gabriel, we all stayed up to about 2 o'clock last night talking football. I'm knackered. Cheers, boys. This news that's come out, what would you make of it? I'll go to Gabriel first on this.
I'm excited. Because I know Grealish is a top player who's playing for a terrible team. So I'm really excited. And of course, he's not going to come in and want a starting spot. I hope not. But if he does, it's actually good competition and there's a good spirit in the camp. So I think I only see positives. And I really hope we can get a deal done for around 40 million or 45 million.
I agree with you if they get relegated, especially. KJ, what about yourself, bro? So you're a bit of a Brummie. You must be very, very famous around that area for you, man. So, like, what you think?
Yeah, Jack is obviously the best player in Birmingham, like by hands down. Like, there's no argument about that. So for me to see Jack come in to United would be great. I think he's a wavy footballer. He's actually very versatile as well. He can play left wing, he can play number 10, and I've seen him play centre midfield as well at the times that I watch Villa. So he'll be a great addition to the squad because we can use him in multiple different ways if there's certain injuries in certain areas. I would love to see him in United. I part of me wants Villa to stay up, obviously, because Birmingham, I want them on the map. So Villa being in the Prem is always good. But if they have to get sacrificed so we get Jack, it has to be done, innit? Like, United comes first.
I hope so. We're going to be calling you a turncoat. We're going to add everyday same to the stream. Everyday same. What do you make of this deal, bro?
Hello, can you hear me?
Perfect.
What do I make of this deal? The reason why I call this because I remember when he was involved in the incident during the lockdown, and I was like lambasting him for his false contrition kind of thing.
Yes.
But I think that Ollie will be able to harness and tame him. Not tame him to the point of changing him, but get him on side. And I think there's so much positivity in the team at the moment that would be a prerequisite. It would have to be a conversation that's had or already being had. And I think maybe this is what he needs just to, you know, pardon my French, grow the fuck up and just play football. But the thing is, he performs on the field. So I can say that somebody like Roy Keane is my favourite ever United player. So I don't mind. I actually like the fact that Grealish couldn't do a sincere lie to the public about how he was sorry and stuff, because he wasn't, obviously. So I kind of like that attitude. You know what I mean? He's the. A lot of teams have not necessarily a bad boy, but like a knobhead. Do you know what I mean? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Robe.
Yeah, and let's just have it all in one player. Let's have it in this geezer. You know, Villa go down, we can get them for cheap. And, you know, I think, I mean, like, you know, we also like Dolly scoring on traffic. You know, who even thinks to do that? You know what I mean?
No, I do hear that, and I understand there's some issues with his character, but I also agree that Ollie isn't going to allow, in my opinion, anyone to join the group who he is not 100% convinced is coming into the right reasons and will have the right attitude. And you know what? The thing is as well, I look at John Terry's a prime example of this. John Terry, didn't have a great attitude as a man, but he was a complete professional still. So I think the biggest, when you're a football club, there is the character of an individual. It's how that character impacts the way his teammates think and feel about that said person. And no one dislikes. He isn't like a bad influence like a Jerry Bart who teammates dislike. He's a bit of an idiot on the road, but yeah, you get what I mean. I think he'll be absolutely fine in the dressing room, but there'll just be an element of, you know, United have very good media trainers. He'll be training taught how to do things in the right way and whatnot. But I would love.
Yeah, I want to put some respect on Jack's name, because he has this reputation from when he was younger that he's not serious, and he gets into trouble and does his foolishness. And I know that he made his mistake in lockdown, but so did Kyle Walker, so did many other footballers during that time. And it's kind of like, because it was Jack Grealish, he was getting heat, and I was kind of like, yo, from the way he's got relegated with Villa the first time, and got back up, got given the captaincy, found his form, found what he's got, and he's ran with it. He deserves more credit than he actually gets, because a lot of people like to slander him because, oh, he's just a lad and he's got an attitude problem. No, like you said, no one in Villa hates him. The Villa players, Villa staff love him. He wouldn't be the captain,
bro. Yeah, he's the captain.
Otherwise, so Jack deserves a bit more respect than he actually gets there.
He'll get that respect if he comes to United, I guarantee you.
Yeah, 1 second, boys. So a few people in the comments saying there's an issue with the audio. We think there was a bit of a connection issue there with Everyday saying it dropped off. Let us know if the audio has resolved itself, because I don't want to continue the stream if the audio is bad. We've added B-Man to the stream. Bro, what do you make of Jackie Grealish? Do you want this deal to happen?
First, I want to address the issues around Jack. Listen, I agree with both the guys, but we all know the English media. Like, in my opinion, he needs to grow up. He needs to stop putting himself into these situations. Yes, it's unfair the way he's being treated and the way they blow it out of proportion. But as a professional, you shouldn't be putting yourself into that position, especially now you know that, you know, they're always looking for something to criticize you with. And I'm sorry, I disagree with one of the fellows who's saying because he's going to Man United, they're going to lay off him a bit. Let me tell you something, it's going to get 10 times worse. Like, if history has taught us anything, that when you take away, I mean, it's already bad enough that he's at Villa. Imagine what's going to happen when he's at Manchester United. When he's succeeding, they'll pick little things to criticize him with. And when he's going through a bad patch of form, Lord have mercy. This kid, they're going to put him through the ringer. But besides all of that, I'm very happy that we got him. He gives us other tactical options. He makes our bench even stronger, and he gives us cover for, you know, whenever maybe one of Bruno or Pogba, they get injured, or maybe one of them is not performing. We can bring him in, and he's very versatile.
I think what's interesting. What you say, the B-Man makes sense around the media attention. This is where Man United fans need to be strong. I was listening today to, I want to say it's Andros Townsend was his name, who said it. I listened to snippets of it, of a conversation he had, where he said that Man United fans need to ignore what the media tell you about Paul Pogba, about his character, about him being a virus in his attitude, because he's not. And I know I've had conversations, especially with you, KJ, off air, about my dealings with that particular family and what humble, lovely people they are. It is all nonsense. Jack Grealish will get this, the same thing. We know he's made mistakes in his life, but do you know what? The vast majority of young football players will, because, and you notice it more as you become older in my situation, because, you know, especially now with cameras around and social media, every little mistake somebody makes, every joke somebody makes, every stupid decision they make is almost immortalized forever. But the media will come for Jack Grealish with absolute vengeance when he becomes a Manchester United player. Everywhere he parks his car, every bar he goes into, every restaurant. And with the woke nature of social media now as well, it will be, you know, I'll give you an example of woke nature, social media. I'm not anybody, but I tweeted something today about if you save around £13 a day, and you can save that literally, or you can like cut back in your spending, you save about £5,000 up over the course of a year, you know. And I basically said, you know, start saving and change your life. It was just a bit of it's crazy how quickly money can accumulate. And I've had people come at me, right, and tweet me stuff like, who the hell do you think you're targeting with this? You do realize that the unemployed and the working poor can't afford to do this. So who exactly are you targeting, Terry? And I'm like, just targeting like working class people like me that may find a way to be able to save a bit of extra money if they really review their finances. What's your expertise on this? Only about 2,000 days reviewing the working class people's bank accounts in my career, but yeah, no experience. And then I'm getting told you're not even working class, Terry. I'm like, no, I am, bro. And this is the thing. That's just little old me putting out a little opinion, not even an opinion, a fact, you know, and someone's got offended because maybe they can't, or someone they know can't afford to save £13 per day. And I'm a bit like, it isn't about, do you get where I'm coming from? And that's the thing with social media now. You can put out something innocent that might help 100 people that read it and go, oh, do you know what? I might be able to do that. But because someone that can't utilize it, people get triggered. And the same thing will happen with Jack on a national, global scale, a national scale and a global scale. It will be, did you see that he parked, you know, his wheel was touching the line of a disabled car park at Tesco's? That will be blown out. True.
No, it's true. I've seen headlines about Yana's guy taking a girl to Nando's and making out like this.
Or Fernandez going to Sainsbury's. Remember that?
Yeah, they'll be like, he shopped in Primark. Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
How dare he shop in Primark? What do you mean? He's a millionaire. How dare he shop where the poor and unemployed have to shop? He's taking the mick out of them. He's making them look stupid because he can afford better than that. And then what he'll do is he'll tweet a picture. He'll get seen with a backpack on that's worth £1,000. How dare he? Mm-hmm. How dare he wear a £1,000 bag on his back when there are working class people that can't even afford to eat?
They can't win, man. They can't win.
That's what will happen. No matter what you do, if you try and help people, if you try to do charity work, it'll be, he's just showing off that he can. I'd love to do charity work, but I've got to work 17 jobs. I haven't got the time. It literally will be that. It's what they do. Again, the reason I gave the example about me, I'm no one. I'm nothing. No one cares about me. No one does outside of a little football terrorist community. No one cares. But I just put out a little bit of advice that might help some people. And it's crazy. That's how life is. Do you know what's mad as well? I remember when I used to work for a particular bank, we had a Premier queue. But if you were a Premier customer, which you paid for, you got priority queuing. Every week, at least 3 people would come in and kick off at us, basically saying we're discriminating because they can't use the queue because I can't afford it. Like, I get that, but it's not discrimination. It's just a service, bruv. Do you know what I mean? It's like, how far do you take this? I hate stuff like that because it's sort of just like, well,
bro,
it'd be offended. Jack Grealish is going to get this to such a level, man. It's mad.
In my job, you got taken to court over there, bro. Like I've said before, I work at a financial institution, and let me tell you something, bro. You wouldn't believe the type of things that people take us to court or litigation over. And if you think it's bad day in England, bro, you should come down here to South Africa, one of the most progressive laws you've ever seen in your entire life. Let me tell you something, bro. The kind of things that people are gonna drag you through the mud for. I mean, stupid things, but hey, it is what it is, man. It is what it is.
Go on, KJ. Go on, Sam.
I was about to bring it back to Jack, and I was talking to Madame recently about like why I think Jack Grealish was the better option than Maddison, because I was watching Maddison play against Everton. And he did very well against Everton. To be fair, he did pretty good. just couldn't get his team to score. And I was saying how with Jack Grealish, the thing that I think it makes him different and a better option than Maddison is that you've seen him go through those bad times, those tough times, and grit his teeth and come on the other side and go through it. And whereas Maddison, he seems like a player. And it's not slight on him, but he seems like a player that will only work well when things are going well. If you know what I mean. Whereas I can see Jack, because Jack playing for a relegation side and being the captain, he dragged Villa from I think it was like mid championship up into the playoff spots. He's trying his best like to drag Villa up to safety. So I feel like that's an attribute that is in his favour, and that's why I would personally pick him over someone like Maddison, who was getting compared to this season.
Absolutely, the guy is a leader, bro. The guy's been punched up by fans in literally last year. Like this guy has seen it all.
And scored the winner that game. That was amazing.
He's a leader. He's only sorry.
He got hit by fans.
Yeah. So in the Birmingham Villa game last season,
you remember last season?
A Villa fan a Birmingham fan ran onto the pitch, hit Grealish on the back of the head. Obviously, he got arrested and stuff, but then Jack Grealish went on to score the winner in that game anyway.
And celebrate
so it was good to see. He's got that grit, man.
He's got that grit, bro. He's a perfect leader, perfect character to fit into the squad.
I did not know that. I mean, damn.
Yeah.
I just feel 100
now. I didn't know that happened. I'm literally just. I can't show it.
I just remember.
Wait. He got attacked by fans, and then the following game or the game after.
The same game, bro. He got the winner.
Right, he came back and he did work.
Yeah. Jack Grealish.
It was one fan.
That is special, man.
What's funny about it? He thought it was a player that did it, and he dived. He got hit. And the way Jack Grealish goes forward, I think he thought it was a player that hit him in the back of the head.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Someone who comes from a fighting background, if you get punched hard enough to make you fall down, you don't fly through the air like you're like in a Mortal Kombat film or something. So he obviously thought it was a player. He must have had the shock of his life when he looked up and was like, he's wearing a coat. He's
wearing a hat. Yeah, he was wearing a hat as well.
Guys,
that one, mad. And then he gets the winner.
If he got hit by a fan, I mean, legally speaking, we saw it with Sporting Lisbon, I think last season or 2 years ago. Like you have, because at the time, remember, he was being quoted by a lot of Premier League sides, especially Spurs. Now, most players, if they wanted out of the team, that would have been the perfect excuse to terminate his contract, because he got harmed while he was doing his job. The team failed to protect him. So that could have been a great excuse for, if not, force Villa to sell him at a cheaper price than they would have wanted, or just walk out of his contract.
Unfortunately, that was last season, and
that was last season.
It was in the championship, and plus Jack loves Villa. Like he ain't finding no excuse to just leave there. You know what I mean? Like, the only reason he's gonna leave now is because he's done
getting relegated.
He's done all that he could for that club. Like,
and he said that Old Trafford was his favorite stadium. So
Jack.
He loves United. Yeah, of course.
Jack wants to come.
107. I've just had a reply though, by the way, peeps. I've had a little reply from the people calling me out on social over these things. Right? Someone's this is how mad I love it. So I know it's completely off subject. I love this sort of thing. One guy says to me, "How can you be working class because you work for a bank? Working class people are manual workers and are paid by the hour or day. You know, you sort of like
working class background though, no."
Exactly. I might have managed to get myself out of living in a working class environment, but I'm always going to be working class, and I'm never going to be disrespectful. And the other guy says to me, "Because the amount of what you suggested is bonkers. The vast majority are not in a position if they have any little disposable income at all." And I'm like, this is where people miss this point. I made a point of saying, save 5,000 a year, you got to save £13 per day. Now, not everyone can do that. But what if someone can afford to save £4 per day? Why would you not do that still? It's not. This is what I say. It's about trying to make you feel bad because you don't have £30 spare a day. But having said that, I would say anecdotally, because I can't talk about the whole country, I must have sat down with 50 to 100 people a month. That's a lie, maybe a quarter, who said, show me I can't afford to save. I'm in debt. Can't ever get out of it. We do account reviews, and it was a hard thing to do because you have to be blunt with people. But you'd be like, you can't save any money. No. In the last 6 months, you've bought at least 4 to 5 bottles of perfume from the perfume shop, and that was one. It's like, is that all essential? You know, I can see here £35 a month you're spending in Costa. Is that essential? It might be. And you'd sit down with people and you build their trust and you wouldn't ever condescend. But, you know, and you couldn't do it for everybody. But with lots of people, you were able to save them sometimes a couple of £100 a month on non-essential spending. And it was like, well, let's work with that. And that's the point I would say to people. Don't ever just look at yourself, I can't get out of it. Talk to experts, talk to people in the industry, and you might be able to do something out. Don't listen to people that say, because you're working class, and because at the moment you're working paycheck to paycheck, there's no way out the other end of it. There is ways out the other end of it. You just got to strive for it. And I don't care if I upset anybody. I don't care if I offend anybody with that. How do I know it's true? Because I did it, and I'm not rich, but I did it, and I saw hundreds of people do it in the thousands of days I spent working in retail banking. So when people are, you're a banker, retail banking. I worked in the high street in stores. My first job paid me £12,000 per year. I weren't in a quarter of £1 million a year job. I was a cashier counting money, bruv. Like the lowest of the low. Anyway, I'm sorry to go off on a tangent. I'm just saying, this is that mad people on social media. They get offended by everything. It's crazy. Anyway, Ram, Grealish to United. Tell me your views.
Yeah, I think it's a good signing. I think he's obviously a talented player. I've heard you guys talk about him and how the media portray him. I honestly believe it's not his fault. Because in the Championship, when you look at all the other captains, because I have a vested interest in the Championship, if you look at like people like Nottingham Forest's captain Joe Worrell, they're about the same age, but they're completely different people. Like Joe Worrell is more of a keeps to himself. He doesn't really go out, doesn't do anything like, as they say, stupid. But with him, they always automatically go for the guy that does the outlandish stuff, does the stuff that something that Pogba would do. And obviously they'll get criticism.
No, but it's not even what Pogba would do, because Pogba don't
exactly.
Drink,
it's just stuff. Even a little mistake, they do it. And Joe Worrell's made a couple of mistakes, and he doesn't get a lot of press attention because he's not that kind of person that goes out and about. So it's not entirely his fault. And he used to play for Ireland as well, and he changed allegiances, so it gives that sort of like.
Irish fans don't like him or Declan Rice at all.
Yeah, they hate him. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, I get that. From your point of view, Prime, what do you make of this news, bro?
I think it'll be a quality signing for Man United. It adds squad depth, quality squad depth, and also more leadership in the squad.
Definitely.
No, I agree. I agree.
I think he would fit into the personality as well. I think from what I've seen of him and from the post I've seen him play, post the music he listens to, it seems like he would fit in very much with the players. And people don't think about that when buying players. Like, will they actually fit in as in their personalities? Would it fit into the squad? That's why I think Sancho would be good for United because personality-wise and culture-wise, he fits in very well with the United squad.
That's why I'd love Alphonso Davies to come to Liverpool, because I think him and Trent Alexander-Arnold, Joe Gomez, they'll be like the best of friends. They're just so similar in terms of characters that they are.
You just need to look at Eric Bailly and Odion Igalo, fam. Like those two are best buds, fam, and you can just tell because the culture's there. They've got the similar way of living, and that's why you need. That's why you need multiple leaders in a team. That's why it's not just about having one. Because you look at United, like Harry Maguire, he's not like Jesse Lingard. He's not like Paul Pogba. So different players will view him differently. Some will revere Harry Maguire massively, and then others won't. But that's why you need other leaders in the squad where they look at each other equally and be like, right, cool, let's all meld together and become a team.
Doesn't Harry Maguire have his own social? Doesn't he have like a social group with the likes of Luke Shaw? Because they're like sort of like compatible. I
would assume so. I don't know. I got insider information, so I would assume.
What do you mean by compatible?
Like the type of personalities they're a little bit like hide, but not hide behind. But
say it
like
English, fam. Just say it. They're English, bro.
I don't expect Harry Maguire to hang around with Jesse Lingard, innit? Because it's the type of character.
You'd be surprised, bro.
He's a reserved kind of guy.
It's interesting. So if you look at it, like Victor Lindelof and Paul Pogba are two of the closest friends at the club.
Yeah.
I think this sort of notion that, like, I don't know. I get where you're coming from, but I think they've always not everyone out of the 23-man squad are going to be friends with one another. I remember Paul Scholes talking about how him and I don't even know if him and Wayne Rooney had each other's mobile phone numbers as an example. Like you'll always find there'll be certain people that, like Wayne Rooney's best friend at Man United, I think, was Darren Gibson. And now because of his status in the squad, people may never have guessed that. Phil Bardsley was a good friend of him. So I think you're always going to get people that you are friends with more than others. But I think what you need is a good collective group.
Yeah,
and
ability doesn't correlate to friendship.
But bro, I get this whole friendship and team chemistry thing, but look, man, when the rubber hits the road, that's why I love Jack Grealish's signing. Okay, because of his attitude on the pitch, man. I want guys when it gets tough, they're not just gonna go into the shell. They're gonna grab the guy next to him and tell him, "You go there, you do this. Let's win this game." Or if we're trailing and we think, "Okay, we can't recover this game. Come on, let's get a point." Oh, we're under pressure. Okay, man, let's hold on. Let's get these 3 points and let's move on. I don't want everyone to be best friends and all of that. Man, I want a Premier League title. I'm sick of waiting, man. That's why I love Grealish, man.
You need to wait a little bit longer, mate. You need to wait a little bit longer.
I'm surprised.
Yeah, not 30 years though.
Moving forward, man.
I'm surprised no one else went in for him.
No, he's you know what? That's why I say all the time when I'm talking to Manchester United fans that when in 10 years from now, if this whole works out, I'm gonna tell them the best signing we made was that kid from we signed from Swansea. Not out of ability, not out of ability. Wait, it's not out of ability, but it shows a shift in thinking that Manchester United are willing to take risks. Because what we saw in the last 5 years, guys, buying an established player or a player with a reputation is the laziest thing you can do as a football club, because why? You don't have to do your research, you don't have to do due diligence. You're going to say, "Oh, look, he's already done this A, B, and C." But if you are going to take a gamble like we did with Bruno Fernandes, remember, no other club was willing to take a punt in him for the type of money that it would have cost. So when you're putting that type of money on the line, you are forced to do your due diligence. Is this guy going to fit in with our culture? How is he like on the dressing room? How is he like when things don't go well? That's why I love these type of signings, because it forces you to do the work that otherwise you wouldn't have done if it was, a superstar, already made superstar.
Yeah, by the way, if I add people to the stream and your line is noisy and there's bad feedback, I will throw you straight out because it really messes up the sound for the people that are tuning in. So if you go in and it's like crazy, to try and be in a quiet place, try and have earphones in as best you can. We're going to add one more person here. We've got Simon. Simon, you're back with us. Can we hear you?
Yeah, hopefully you can hear me. Can you hear me all right now?
There we go. What's your views and opinions, Si?
Well, I'm another Brummie in the call.
Yeah,
so.
my guy, fam. Let's go.
As the same, Jack Grealish is definitely the best player in Birmingham at the moment. I think we need leaders on the pitch more than anything. He kind of reminds me in the not as tenacity, but like Roy Keane role. Where he can grab people by the scruff of the neck and just go, "Come on, you're coming with me. I'm going forward. This is what we're doing. We're marching forward." You look at Bruno Fernandes at the moment. I watched the game. I've watched all the games since the lockdown from football's come back, and he's been the one Man United player that seems to just organise everybody. Even though Maguire's the captain, Maguire's absolutely brilliant. I love the Maguire signing when we did it last season. Really don't know why they didn't sign Fernandes at the beginning of the season. I watched all your streams, Terry. I was listening to everything that you're saying during the transfer opening. But I think Grealish is a player that we definitely need in the squad. For me, he'll go straight in. He'll be sitting behind Pogba and Fernandes, supporting it. I know he's not a CDM, but I think he could really play anywhere over the midfield. For me, I've watched him a lot. I've got a lot of Villa supporters in my friends, and they all rave about him. The cheaper we can get him, the better. He's English, he's young, he's hungry, he wants to win titles. He hasn't broke into the England squad yet, so I think the step up to Man United, especially having the decent coaches or the best coaches in the world that Man United have, I think you'll see that extra yard of pace come out of him, the extra ability coming out of him, and I don't think it'll be long until he's really in the England squad.
Yeah, so much about what you said I agree with. I think that especially about me being a brilliant YouTuber and everything. That's I like, you know what, me just saying that will trigger some. Oh, yeah, I said that. He's so arrogant. Yeah, sarcasm. Sarcasm, my dear Watson. But yeah, I just think that, me sitting here in my lower middle class home with my lower middle class background, sorry, I'm just reacting to people today. People are sending me links to Wikipedia going, this is where you fit in. Imagine people that have never met me telling me where I fit in life. It's amazing. But yeah, I think Jackie Grealish will be a great signing for the club. And I think as everybody has said, it's that strength in depth that we suddenly have. And I'm looking at it now going, our first 11 is almost sorted, barring a couple of positions. I then want to next season. I want to see the team news announced and then look at the bench and be like, Liverpool, we're coming for you, bruv. We've also added to the stream, checking the name here.
It's Sharia.
Yeah, Mr. Khan. I can say Mr. Khan. It's a lot easier for me to pronounce. What do you want to say, bro? And that is a very posy picture. Loves an Insta. Tell us your opinion, bro.
I thought whenever the good player like Jack Grealish link with us, so that after that the media make the theory that its agenda on Manchester United, that when the player of Jack Grealish caliber link with us, so they make an agenda that we have to target him. Everything he's done, they have to target him because if Jadon Sancho is playing in England, he's playing in England and he done the same thing, so they target our players that we have linked. We haven't signed it yet, but there's an agenda against the Manchester United. In my thoughts.
Yeah, I think you'll definitely be targeted.
Yeah.
You know what,
and the one thing I'm also saying, like James has only a one season, and he's only 21, and our fan base totally want him to be like Mbappe, like Rashford and Sancho. He's coming from Championship, and we have to stay patient. He was a backup for Rashford.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Somebody has to say it.
Yeah. So James should never be getting the abuse he's getting because he's a young player. And the thing with James, that's a quick tangent, but the thing with James is he gets into the good positions. He's just not finishing the chances. So once he gets those finishing boots, I mean, he'll be a good player for us.
Can I add one thing on James also? He's a left winger that plays on right. And he's providing 3 assists from the right hand side, and he only plays in August period on the left wing. So you have to see this. Our fan base is basically want a huge expectations on a player that coming from Championship. We have to patience. We have. I'm just supporting Manchester United from 2006. Oh, so whenever I see Fergie teams, and now I'm seeing the starting 11, I'm so much happy to see the starting 11. After seeing the starting 11, I'm saying, okay, now this team is going to be better tonight. Simple as that. I want to thanks Terry for having me on the show. I'm from Pakistan and I love his show. Thank you, Terry.
I appreciate that, bro. All the way from Pakistan. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. We did a shout out a minute ago from Ellie Sancho. Said her name is. She's from Somalia. She put East Africa. I was like, honestly, I do know it's East Africa. Like, I mean, in a nice way. I know where Somalia is on the map. But yeah, shout out to you over there, Lincoln. What's going on, bro? I'm still not forgiving you, Lincoln. You watch my show a lot, but I always see you do super chats on other people's channels and never mind. No, I ain't joking.
Wait, if you stay in that, then everyone's gonna be upset with Zayn, because Zayn's a hoe, man. Zayn is a hoe, bro. He's just out here with everybody, bro.
Bro.
He's a cat. He's a literal cat. I found this out recently, and by the way, if I was given a wrong fact, I apologize. I didn't realize that a cat can have their kittens but have multiple fathers. So you could have a cat that has, like, say, 7, 8 kittens, but there could be 2 different dads to those kittens, right? So they can get pregnant by multiple male cats at the same time. That's Zayn. Zayn just goes around flirting. All he doing on YouTube. He does it. I love it. We love you,
bro.
Right
going
now.
back
Does he
to
even
the
have a life,
James
bro? He's on every stream. He's on every stream imaginable. AFTV, United Stand, Football Terrace. He's on every stream possible.
One day we're all getting a big rebate where Visa's going to come knocking and be like, "Yeah, this guy, you got to stop this guy doing it."
It's a fraud.
Charge back FC, bro. Charge back FC.
I think going back to the James situation, I watched James very early in his Man United career. Even though he's still very early into it, the very first few months, and he looked a top player. His finishing was unreal. The goals he was scoring, everything was fantastic. I think Ollie just burned him out, playing him a little bit too much. I know he's come from the Championship where they play more games, but the Premier League is just a different kettle of fish. It's more high tempo and things like that. I think the one thing with James is his production needs to be better. When he's out on the wings, his crosses need to be that little bit sharper. That's something, because he's so young, Ollie can work on him. The coaching staff can work on him. But I think we have got a top quality player there for very cheap.
Yeah.
Young, hungry, wants to prove himself. He could be. I'm going to say, and I'm going to get some of the looks because I can see he's going to be the next Giggs. I really can see it being the left winger.
Okay.
Because he's think he could.
You see the fans? You see why fans got a problem with John James? Yeah, because man, you're saying this.
He's a good player. He's a good player, but you are comparing it to Giggs. It's not a fair. Please
correct me if I'm wrong.
It's not fair. People say it's not fair now. You look at Giggs when he first came in at United. He was not the finished article. He's
killing it, bro. He was killing it. Giggs at 17, 18 in the United team.
He was killing it, bro. He was dribbling past man like they were nothing, bro. Like James is not doing that.
James can do that.
Bro, do you know it's like? James is like this. Imagine. It's like saying, it's like comparing Justin Bieber to Michael Jackson.
Oh yeah. Fine. Yeah.
I can see these similarities between the two players. Not just because the Welsh. Not just because the Welsh. The speed of James. With James, his speed is one of his best traits.
I look at James and see this. I see a player that I think the level he'll get to at Man United will be the Nani level or the Jasper Blomqvist level. That's about the ceiling for him. I mean, player is what I think. I don't think he'll ever be the standout superstar. Kane, you were going to say something. Can't. Sorry, you can say something.
I want to say something. I just watched a video yesterday from Rance, and he was saying that we invested wrongly on James because he's don't worth 15 million. I want to ask Ram. He's a Liverpool fan. If you have a chance to take James from us, so would you take it as a backup for Mane? I'm just saying backup for Mane.
No. I think. With us, we have so many players on our list. We don't understand. We have so many players on loan. That is incredible. Like it's better. It's technically better than James, and that if we're going to take him from United, we're just going to be wasting these players that we already have. So I honestly think we want someone that has that end product, that has that little bit of end product.
Here's what I'll say about James. The reason why I think a lot of people are on James's back is because obviously one, he's been overplayed by Ollie. Two, the expectations are a bit too high for him. And three, because there's actually a lot of good talent in the Championship with actual quality, of all the players.
Okay, your internet, bro.
Can we please talk about the defenders now? Like, I would love to be linked to some players defensively, please. Like, I'm asking
Woodward. You love back.
Going back on KJ's point, there are so many rough diamonds in the Championship. You don't understand. There's so many great players in the Championship.
Ben Rahman.
Like Calvin Phillips, like I said, Joe Worrell, Matty Cash from Nottingham Forest. There's a couple of players from Brentford, incredible players from Brentford. I
Yeah.
can't remember the names, but
I
they're
love
incredible as well. There's so many great players in the Championship that people should be taking a look at.
Yeah, there is. I look at Dan James though, and I just see a player where next season, and I look at next season as an example with Greenwood coming through. Greenwood isn't the same player now as he was at the beginning of the season. He is physically filled out. He's getting ready to start playing more games on a more regular basis. When Sancho comes in, and it will happen, and maybe we add the delights of a Grealish in there, then Dan James becomes exactly what I think Ollie truly wanted him to be. You've got to remember, we were trying to play Bruno in the summer, and it didn't happen. If Bruno came in when he was meant to, if Woodward and the guys got the deal done, and if Pogba hadn't have got injured, it's my honest belief that we wouldn't have seen James play.
Of course,
definitely.
He would have had more time to embed in it. It was a bad situation. I'm also talking about a young boy moved up to the Premier League whose father died before he signed. He had a tough year. He's had a tough year as a man, and this is how I know Man United fans have got an agenda against him. When he spoke up about the pain he felt after his dad died, people were like, "Oh, Pogba's dad died, and he didn't make a big song and dance about it." It's like, well.
Did they really actually say that, Terry?
There was one guy that tweeted it, and this is the worst bit. There was hundreds, and then by the end of the day, thousands of people liked it, and quite a few of the big Man United fans out there that are always on Dan James' back, I could see they liked it, and I'm like, how are you even liking that tweet? It's like saying, because this is how Pogba handled grief. This is how Dan James has to handle grief. It's like, one, you discount the fact that we are individuals. Two, who knows about the setup? And we all know that we've all suffered it. Everyone handles.
You have to remember, how old were both people when their respective fathers?
I don't know how exactly. Yeah.
But
you mean the dad?
That don't matter. That don't matter. It don't matter. The fact that James has gone through what he's gone through, it still needs to be respected. And to be fair, he has done what he can do. And for a young man going through that grief at such a big time in his life as well, because you can't be telling me his dad wouldn't be buzzing for him and being there to support him. It's a massive loss. So in that respect, people need to give that boy more respect that he deserves in that sense.
As I say, next season, what you will see is a player that will come into that team, will come at the right times. If he's a backup player, a squad player, and he's scoring 7 goals a season, assisting 6 or 7 goals,
I'm fine.
Everyone's cool with that, and I think that's the difference. And I've said many times, is where Man United fans, the smart ones, know what they're doing on purpose, agenda-wise. But this is the thing, right? We've had players like of Dan James's quality, of Lingard's quality, and the like since I was born. The Henningbergs, the David Mays, the Jasper Blomqvist, the John O'Shea's of this world, are all varying degree of levels, but all been that level. If we would have tried to have won Premier Leagues year in, year out with John O'Shea as one of our main centre-backs, with Darren Fletcher as one of our main midfielders, as Jasper Blomqvist in our team instead of Beckham, winning these things. They were back up, but no one attacked them because we had a brilliant team. It's like Liverpool right now. If Liverpool didn't have Mo Salah and they didn't have
Origi would get
and Shaqiri, and they had instead of Trent, would they have won the league this year? I don't think so. And I don't think they would have done. But no one cares that those guys are in their squad because their first team's so good. And it's about perspective. And I think Dan James gets such nasty, vile, thuggish, disgraceful abuse from Man United fans. And everyone needs to come together to defend him because, the title of our team, we're called United for a reason. Get behind your own back. You've got to say he's a world-class player, but you back him, especially when people are laughing at him for the way he's handled his father dying. I mean, how that doesn't get our big fan channels are not coming out making content about that and slamming United fans for doing it. You're a fan channel, focus on the fans. It's a disgrace.
Yeah.
Those are not Man United fans, bro. I refuse to accept them or acknowledge them as Man United. Damn, I don't even accept them as human beings, bro. How can you celebrate or shrug off somebody losing their family, man? That's messed up.
Yeah.
I don't care even if you're 50 or 60 years old. I don't care.
There's one in the chat. There's one in the chat which I ain't gonna acknowledge because what's the point of chatting about it?
I know what James is going through. I lost my father 5 years ago, so I know exactly what he's going through. But Pogba, nobody should ever slander anybody in that way, especially about losing one of them. Probably the main focus in his life was his father. Probably the main man that he went to. A boy's first hero is always his father, no matter what. Same with a woman. the first hero she has is always a mum. I know my dad was a hero. I was young. I used to play rugby. I played at a very good level. My dad was there week in, week out, shouting on the sidelines, "You're doing this wrong. You're doing that wrong." So I used to tell him, "Shut up." But it's one of those things. A man now, his first hero is his dad. So the person who he lost the most was not there at the time when he signed the Man United contract. How hard can that be for somebody? And then maybe to read, if he's on social media, I'm sure he is, and he read that, how could that make him feel? He might be like, you know what, don't want to be at United no more. If that's how the fans are going to treat me, I'll go somewhere else.
I think as well, what was got to remember about these situations? Everyone handles it different. You know, I went through a bit of a tough time a couple of years ago, and it didn't really impact me for about a year. And then it hit me like a ton of bricks. I didn't expect it to. And I think that we look at football play again. This is a societal issue. We see football players. We see they have dream jobs and they're rich, but we don't act like their mentality is just as fragile as anybody's. And who knows? You know, he started off like a bull in a china shop. Why? Because he was probably using football and training as a way of masking slightly the truth. But then who knows? You know, 2 or 3 months in, it all went wrong. Maybe he was going through real tough times then. Maybe that was when the loss of his father was hitting him hard, and to not pay that any and it's never easy to lose a parent. But I think when you're young and it happens, and you're still in your adolescent period, and you want that, you need that guidance. You know, I certainly needed my father more 10, 15 years ago for emotional guidance than I do now in my 30s. Doesn't mean I don't want him to be here, because you grow. You know, scientifically, your brain doesn't even properly develop until you're 25. So you're always going to need that. And I just think Man United fans that did that to him need a real long, hard look at themselves in the mirror. And I think that, that's why I have Dan James's back. Whenever I didn't like Fellaini at Man United. I was like, I wanted him out. And there was that day that he signed that new deal, and I saw people wishing cancer on him and his legs to break and all this. It's like, well, I'm now 100%. I went and bought a Fellaini shirt just because I was like, I've got to back you now, because that's wrong. You know, it's like the Granit Xhaka thing. You know, when he did the swearing, it's like, that's terrible. And then he comes out and said, well, because every day hundreds of Arsenal fans are sending me things like, I hope your wife gets cancer. I'm like, how then every Arsenal fan didn't have his back? I found it unbelievable.
You don't get that.
Yeah, you can't
like that. You don't get that kind of.
The thing is, you can't. People can't separate football.
Ram, what did you say there, bro? Sorry, what did you say? You don't get that?
Hang on. You don't get. The only time that we got that from Liverpool was from Loris Karius, and everyone hated what happened to it. We were absolutely disgusted at the way we treated Loris Karius. Yeah, I know.
Even Adrian, bro. This season.
Yeah, even Adrian.
Every fan base has it. When Tammy Abraham missed the penalty, Rashford gets a bit. It was only only a year ago that globally on Twitter, what was trending, and I'm not going to say the word, but it was Ashley Young is an N-word was trending, and people going, and this is how you know it's a global thing. See the Brits. I'm like, bro, it's trending. It was trending in India, Pakistan, Singapore, about 2 or 3 different African countries, and in America. Like, it was a global trend, and it's like all fan bases have got scumbags. What I get annoyed at is that we now have a voice, and what I don't see enough of from fan channels is them doing dedicated videos condemning this. That worries me. That's your job. That is your job. You're a fan channel. Yes, talk about your team. All fan channels say this, and they're right. Fans are the most important part of football. Then call out bad fan behavior. If we're the most important part, and we're the biggest part, call out the behavior. But you don't scared of losing viewers.
I've always said that your fans deserve smoke as much as the players, innit? So if you say something to a player that's non-football related, you deserve all the smoke in the world, fam. So when Dyer went up there and didn't spark out my man for picking on his brother, the fact that he got banned was ridiculous, man, because he's a human being first. So I've got my issues with Dan James, so that's all on a football level. You know what I mean? That's all on a football base. If you from the moment I take that from football and into his personal life and chat about what's going on with his parents and his family, then that's when it's bad. That's when I've crossed the line. And people need to separate the person for the football. They need to stop that. They need to separate.
I was reading about. I'm not an expert, so I was reading about fallacies the other day, and you literally, and I was reading about them, and you literally have 3 different types of fallacies, and I'm going to pronounce this wrong because I'm dumb. But one's called I think it's called an ad hominem, and it's very, very simple. An ad hominem it's where you attack.
You attack the person, and not the argument, The argument. So if the argument is you don't think they're a good enough footballer, rather than giving
people either give very vague things like he ain't intelligent enough. Explain that. No, they then attack the person. You know, I get it as a YouTuber. I make an opinion. People call me every name under the sun rather than actually debunking what I've said. And that's because they don't have an argument to come back with. So they do it. And that's what Dan James gets a lot of. He gets a lot of people attacking him as a person because they know why he's in the team. He's there predominantly, in my opinion, to be used if teams start to push up against us. So, you know, if we're playing Bournemouth on Saturday, 20 minutes to go, and they start to really attack us, and they've got room in behind, I want Dan James coming on. That's when he's brilliant because you knock that ball over the top. He's going to beat anybody in a foot race as an example, and he adds that to us. And it's like people
he stretches team, bro. He stretches team, bro. He's a threat all the time, bro.
It's annoying, but boys, I appreciate you all coming on. I've got to end the stream now because I've got to eat some food before the Tottenham game begins. And whatnot, and obviously I'm doing watch along tonight for the Liverpool City game. But listen, by the way, everyone who's tuning in the description below is the link to sign up to HotMic. Please use it now. Tonight we're going to give away a day pass for Sky Sports and a month pass to Sky Sports as long as we hit 100 new followers. So please all download the link, download the app, use promo code TFT, and follow the Football Terrace. It's free. There's never going to be. They don't take any card details. There's no adverts. But please come and follow us over there. It means a lot to us if you can do that. Everyone, all you boys that have tuned in, thank you. I appreciate it. And we'll speak to everybody soon. Take care. Goodbye. God bless.
Cheers, bro.
See you later, Terry.